everybody. Woo! Sorry, if I bust out in tears, it has been an emotional 20 minutes. Even Gracie's crying. I am so grateful to be back with you guys, and I am so apologetic for not being back sooner. You guys all know because you're going through it too, but it has been an emotional time since we last saw y'all. I think for everyone, it's just been a lot of mixed emotions, a lot of anxiety and heartbreak, and a hard time moving through things. We're all going through it. But I just got great news a few minutes ago. One of our baby animals, Sammy, who you guys probably saw in videos, maybe, went missing after Thanksgiving, and we thought coyotes had gotten him because we had seen some in the backyard. But we got a call a few minutes ago that he is alive and well at a cat sanctuary. So as soon as we're done with the program, I'm going to go get our baby. Woof! Holding back the tears. I'm going to cry. Woo! I'm just so grateful to be back. So thank you guys for being here. I know it's been too long, and we're going to jump in it. I'm going to tell you guys tonight, it'll probably be emotional, and it's probably going to be hard hitting tonight because I think there's a lot that we have to do. I think that all of us are going through it, and it's kind of a come to Jesus moment for everybody to snap back into a sane reality. Feel like we've all been kind of lending ourselves to other people's versions of reality instead of our own authentic reality. And it's kind of put us in a place where we're not sure who we are sometimes and where we're going. And that creates all that anxiety and the inability to sleep and just feeling sick. I know I've definitely been going through it. And so I needed that time to kind of detach. I'm coming back into it, so it's going to be slow go, but I'm going to give it to you straight, Carol. Don't worry. You guys know me. I'm going to lay it down. I think it's time. I think we all have to jump in and just kind of deal with what's in front of us. I think, the days of kind of sugarcoating things and blowing smoke, they've been long gone, but I think that's in front of us now where we really have to go, right. It's time to start dealing with life, to jump in front of the things, to get on top of things, and to quit procrastinating on building the life that we want, to build our dreams and to build the reality we want. So we're there. So we're definitely going to do that. And so it looks like everybody that's in right now knows how things work. If you're new and coming in, be sure to ask a question if you can. I'll give you a general reading. I always say that. I'm happy to do that generally, but it will be general. So I want to get deep with you guys. I think that's what is needed. I know Rachel really hit on a lot of that last night. And even though I didn't get to see much of the show because all of our systems went down, I did talk to her afterwards a little bit. So I kind of know where things are going. Hey, Izzy, welcome in. Brigitte, Carol, Kelsey, Victor, good to see everybody coming in. So we're just going to get in it hard and hit it hard. And I want you guys to ask serious questions because right now is a serious time. It's time to deal with things. So as we're starting to move through this, I'm going to ask you guys to do that. I'm going to pull one card for the collective. As you guys know, I like to use this tarot deck now just to get a general sense, and then I'll start giving you your reading. I'm still using this one, The Shaman's Dream. Love it, love it, love it. Very good. Izzy, communication from your other half anytime soon. Let me pull the collective card is, and then I'll jump right on that, okay? So the collective card is the Horseman. Wow, this is appropriate. It's a 3 card. Well, there's 30, but it reduces down to a 3, which means it's all about all of us. This is the Trinity, right? It's about that connection to who we are, the world around us, and what is spiritual. What is spiritual is everything. I mean, that's not to be taken lightly. It's our daily lives. It's everything that we are, even if we disconnect and forget that sometimes. But this is the herald of change. Everybody see that really good? It's coming, guys. It's been coming. Rachel and I've been talking to you about that since June and July. I don't know if you guys remember. I was talking with Carol earlier today, and I said, remember back then we were talking about all the water that would come over the earth, all the issues with water and problems that we would have, and they've been hitting us hard. So those things are there to kind of help us or force us to change, to shift the way that we live, to shift our perspective, to understand how dependent we are on this planet, not how dependent it is on us, right? That goes and kind of translates into relationships as well. So I think that card is important because a lot of the times, and especially since COVID, we've become more secular, more withdrawn and into ourselves. And there's a good benefit to that. But I think that we have forgotten also how much we need other people. we've all gotten so, I guess, defensively independent is the way I would put it, to protect ourselves from more trauma. And we forget that the whole world is traumatized right now. What we have gone through as a global society has been traumatizing. So people are waking up into that and kind of dealing with it. Let me see, Carol, you said there's been someone in your peripheral vision. You're not sure if anyone is connecting. I would say somebody's trying to connect. And I will tell you, oddly, I had something or someone walk through my house. I kept getting the shadow where there was no lamp, where there was no light, multiple times. And it was for me, it was a warning. We actually had someone come through the backyard with a flashlight, flashing it into the windows. So that happened beforehand. So I think a lot of the things that we're getting now are our higher self coming in to warn us or to keep us alert of the changes that are happening, because I think there's a big shift, a big societal shift that's about to happen. And I've been talking about that for a long time, and it's not a fear-mongering thing, but it is, I think we're about to see, when people are now being forced to really wake up and face things, that there's a bit of a breakdown. Hey, Beth, good to see you in. So, Izzy, let me get back to yours. I want to jump in really quick because I know we've all been feeling this. And Izzy, your question was about, will there be any communication from your other half anytime soon? The card that I'm pulling for you is a 41. It reduces down to a 5. It is inverted, and it's the Moon Maiden. It's new beginnings. So, starting with that, I will say I don't see the communication coming through soon in a healthy way. I think there may be communication, but I think it's going to be communication that is a bit delusional and clouded, in the sense of that there's a lot of he said, she said, a lot of underlying things that haven't been said that may be manifesting themselves in a way. I say delusional, but it's not, I mean, it's not really delusional. It's just that we all kind of take our experience and our information and create a story with it, right? We create our own stories because it helps us cope with things. And that's kind of the way that I see this playing out as well. As far as that person coming in, I will say this. There's a lot of self-care that needs to be done on both sides. I think that your other half is a little naive to the fact that self-care is needed. But there is self-care needed. And so it's going to be a little bit, sweetie. It's not going to happen overnight. Okay. This is going to take a minute. There's a lot coming up around you guys too. And I'm not sure which one of you it is, about dealing with parents or a parent. This is older people that are having to be dealt with. This is like illness or death, but it's something that comes up where people have to be dealt with. So there's a lot of extra stuff going on. And guys, excuse me, I'm going to take the scarf off, but I'm dying. The hot flashes, they're legit, man. I'm telling you. Menopause is rough. The struggle is real. See all the red marks? That's all hot flash. Ridiculous. It is what it is. Hey, Miss Deborah, how you doing, sweet girl? Good to see you in. Awesome. Carol, I want to pull a little bit with that and see if I can figure out who's coming in on the peripheral. I don't feel like in your case, this is your higher self. I'll tell you what I do feel like it is. It feels like for me that it's someone connected very close to where you live, like a neighbor who passed, or someone that you were close with that passed. But this person feels very solitary, like confinement, like they confined themselves to a certain degree. It feels like a very lonely person for me. It feels like a very, oh God, I don't know. Just a real singular spirit, somebody who didn't quite fit in with the other people quite as well, but it feels like it's just passing through, like it's connecting to some of your energy. And I think some of that energy is that thing that you have in you that needs to implement and heal and connect. And sometimes when we do that, we just become a live wire for connection, right? Just like an open station on a radio, just like a bandwidth. And so things tend to come in. And it feels like for me, that's what that is. So I hope that helps out a little bit. Does anybody else have any questions or anything that they kind of want to jump into? Because there's definitely a lot. Just say it like that. There's a lot going on, guys. And don't be afraid to put your laundry out there, because the truth is that's what we're here to do. If we were just here to do surface level stuff, we'd all be having coffee together. And although that sounds great, that's not what we're doing. We're here to really try to work through things. So Kelsey, let's see. been doing double takes again, like you've seen someone out of your peripheral as well, and then there's nobody there. I think it's going on a lot. Now, I don't know if you guys remember back in April and May, I talked a lot about the merging of two-dimensional levels that we were going through. And we have done that merge now, which is, I think, where a lot of the contention and discontent and discord and confusion comes from. And we tend to forget these things sometimes, because what we do as human beings is we adapt really quick to our situation. We make sense of it as well as we can, even if it's not really rational, and we adapt really quickly. But we have merged. We have a lot going on around us. So, Deborah, you're going for a stress test on Tuesday. You believe you'll be fine. I do too, sweetie. I think you're going to be absolutely fine. The card I'm pulling for you, Deborah, is a 7 card. Now, 7 is my number. So for me, 7 is very sacred in a sense of that it's like the number 11 or the number 1. It connects us so intently to spirit. And this is all about covenant and sacred contracts, Deborah, just so you can see it really good. Hey, Jody. You have not finished your contract out yet. Now, I will say this. I know that your husband is waiting impatiently for you because Jerry was hyper dependent on you emotionally. There was such a strong connection, but it's not your time. So everything with the stress test will be absolutely fine. The one thing I do concern about a little bit with you is just blood pressure regulation. It feels like blood pressure and circulation for me. I think that's because you're such a high energy person. You tend to naturally carry a little more stress and anxiety than some other people do. And I think that fluctuates. It's an emotional thing, fluctuates how you feel. But as far as an actual problem on the stress test, I don't really see any physiological problem. I think it's just a lot of it is that you tend to get yourself hyped up a little bit. So you're going to be fine. I'm not worried about that. You'll be absolutely fine. Miss Jody Stump, it is really good to see you in. I don't know if you guys remember Jody. I had worked on a paranormal investigation at her home a long time ago. She's been in before. Very cool lady. So thank you guys for welcoming her in. I appreciate that. Anybody else got a question? Come on, guys. Carol, Beth, Brigitte. I know you guys have got stuff going on. Miss Jody, everybody does. Ooh, do you guys see the new puppy? That's Sushi. This is our newest foster. He was found in a box taped up in the desert. How lovely of human beings, right? So Mr. Sushi got denutted yesterday and neutered and got vaccinated, and he's doing really good. He's really, really sweet. So anytime you guys see any babies here other than Grace and Sammy, we are always fostering and trying to make sure that animals find their forever families, just like Victor and Honey. I'm sure you guys remember the big air deal I had, and it turned out that Victor was her human. So they have been together now for several months, which is really, really cool. So let's see what we got going on here. Kelsey got a job offer today, but turned it down due to lack of pay. You have one more interview and you're still waiting to hear back while trying to figure out what you want to do with your life. Darling, I think a lot of people are waiting to kind of figure out what they want to do when they grow up. I know I go through bouts of that as well. And I will say this, it's okay, just like taking a trip, it's okay to have a layover. Do you know what I mean? To have a moment where you just kind of idle, and it's okay to take a job that's a layover. And I know the last job was kind of that for you, but it's okay to do it again until you get things kind of figured out. So just relax, just kind of let it be what it's going to be, because the universe is going to set it up anyway. So it'll be fine. Miss Gracie, what is going on? You think you could be kind and not be rude? It would be awesome. I think she's upset because the little man is under my chair. Miss Brigitte, can you have a read? No question, just general. Absolutely. Get a little juice, guys. Man, it's been a rough month. This off and on sick thing has been something else, let me tell you. Carol, hey, Gracie. Everybody hears you, Grace. See, that's what happens. Grace is a big mouth. Y'all have no idea. This dog, she is definitely the most high maintenance of all the animals we have. And right now we are at 4. Okay. Brigitte, I've got a 38, which is going to reduce down to 11, down to a 2. So this is about you and one other person or you in one situation. And this is called mini mask, the authentic self. It is inverted. I'm going to put it upright so that you can see it, because this is a card that I've never pulled before. So it's actually pretty doggone cool. And I think the relevance with this is that, we have so many roles in life, and they change depending on who we're with, who we're lending our energy to, and who we're taking energy from in an agreed shared experience or otherwise. In this situation, I think this is about you having to change roles and things. Sometimes that can be a little hard to kind of shift into a different gear, but you have to sometimes, and that's where we are. So there's a little bit of a struggle with you being ready to shift that role like so quickly, but it's kind of one of those things where you don't really have a choice. I mean, it's just kind of been handed to you that way, and you kind of have to step into it and be the boss or the leader, and how that shift looks. Now, on a flip side, I want to throw something to you that I know is going to sound really strange, but I think it would be optimal for you to start an aviary study program online live with people. I think there's a market for it, and teaching is kind of a thing that you should be doing anyway. So it's something I just want to kind of throw out there, because I think it's something you need to really think about. And I think in that you will combine with other people who are working in the same realm and kind of find your niche. In fact, the people that found our cat run a wildlife sanctuary called Sticks, and they take in a lot of birds. Right now they have a lot of geese. So there's people like this that you should be working with, but it is in a teaching capacity. So I want you to wear the mask. Do you know what I mean? Like that first card that came up. Wear the mask that fits the role. But for right now, disconnect from what you were living in, which, remember in the beginning when I was talking about how we've all kind of lent ourselves to other people's realities. Pull yourself back now and start shaping your own without that energy in it. And I think you're going to find your way really quickly. Oh, Lord have mercy. All right, let me see. Beth Mobley started watching, became anxious feeling. Want to read into that. When you started watching the show, you became anxious. Probably that's Gracie's energy, I would think. Although I think the anxiety in general that's floating out around there is just out in the universe. We're all picking up on it right now. It's pretty high, but it's probably Gracie that you're picking up on because she's anxious. She gets a little nervous, and I think she senses a change coming. It's probably the cat coming back, but sometimes that high pitch can hit other people in a different way. So I will bet that that's probably it, Beth. No worries. Hey, Miss Glenda Peck, good to see you, darling. Carol, you have so many questions. You've managed to stay above the water. A lot of divine energy coming in from everywhere. It is indeed. And water, no pun intended, absolutely. I think we're all everybody's treading water right now. Everybody's with their mouth out of the water. I don't even know if the whole head's out of the water, but there's a lot of information coming in. I think that we collectively have started blocking information in a protective mode. Starting just before Christmas, I think people started doing it, and it's going to carry on for a little bit. There's a bit of that where we have to pull back. We've talked about that, where we have to kind of pull back and go into our cave for a minute. There's a bit of that, but I think it's more for reflection than protection. If I'm being honest, I think it's for us to reflect on our involvement in other energies and how we work with that. Because the truth is, even when we get involved in a loving way, there's a minor manipulation sometimes when we overthink about someone, or we over pray, or we over, do you know what I'm saying? There's a little bit that can happen there that can kind of interfere with their natural path. I'm not saying you're doing that, but it's one of those things that we're kind of feeling. And I think all this water on the planet right now, since it's a conduit, is kind of pushing all of that out around us. It's just kind of surrounding us. So it's not strange that you feel that way at all. Glenda, it is really good to have you back. Really happy to see you. Carol, you'd love to see your card for the night? Absolutely. I'm happy to pull that, my love. Yours is a 52, which goes back down to a 7, which is beautiful. It is straddling worlds, wandering between realms. Who knew? There we go. So you can read into that one, but it's pretty much what I was just saying. We're all kind of in between our reality and other people's reality. We kind of have to pull ourselves up and try to fight our way through. And it reminds me a lot of that movie, What Dreams May Come, with Robin Williams, when he goes down into purgatory to find his wife and try to save her. And the psychologist, his son, says to him, be careful not to stay there too long because you'll get lost in her insanity. You'll get lost in her delusion. I think a lot of us have done that recently. And it's hard to fight our way back out of it, but it's doable. So just pay attention to that. Miss Glenda, anything for you tonight? I will absolutely see what we can find for you, my love. I'm pulling for you a 6 card. It is the Cosmic Womb. It is the Divine Feminine. Okay. This is all about your connection has been a little out of balance and a little out of control lately because there's been this real worry about just about you, which is fine. Don't get me wrong, but it's been about survival, almost like this fight or flight kind of feeling with you. Like, what's the sensible thing I have to think about myself? Like I'm not going to be able to sustain the way I'm doing it right now forever. And there's this real sense of really heavy concentration on you. I'm going to say pull in on that divine feminine. Go see Rachel also because she's got so many great tools to kind of help with that. But it's about really attaching to that and pulling into it and holding it really tight. Facebook user that said, hello, Paige McIntyre, glad to see you tonight. I'm happy to see you too. Could you do me a favor and put your name in the next text so I know who it is? That would be awesome. But yeah, Glenda, that's pretty much it. It's okay to be, I've been in fight or flight lately. I've been back and forth with it, hardcore. And it's kind of natural for me, but it's been a little more pronounced lately with what we have going on in El Paso. So, and then also like one of the silly things I've noticed in this energy is because I speak Italian all the time, I've lost some of my English. My accent has been so broken, like getting back online with you guys helps because it pulls me back into an American accent. But I've been so wrapped up with my Italian side of the family and with cooking that truly there are times when I don't even recognize my voice. Sadly, I have 2 voices. I guess it's that straddling 2 worlds all the time. All right, Miss Kelsey, you have a question. A guy you went to high school with and yourself used to spend quite a bit of time together. It's been 9 years since you saw each other last, and it ended with him ghosting you. He's since moved. You started texting again 5 months ago. Will we ever see each other again? Oh, darling, let's see. I'll be honest with you. You have a real tendency to trust people. I think you play harder than you are sometimes. I don't know if I see this going anywhere. Do I think you guys will see each other again by random chance? Yes. Or, he just happens to come into town or whatever. I don't see a major love connection coming out of it because I find him unreliable. I see a friendship coming out of it if you can kind of carve it out and define it in that way. But an actual relationship where he comes in, not so much, not in a reliable, stable way. And you need reliable and stable, but you also need somebody that can kind of pull you out of your comfort zone. He could do that, but he wouldn't be able to give you the other stuff. So I'll just say build a friendship, but try to maybe just maintain it at that. Hey, Miss Jackie Jones. Of course I have time to give you a reading. That's what I'm here to do. What else am I going to do, huh? Niente. Let's see what we got for you, my love. Okay, I've got a 19, which is a 10, reducing down to a 1. So this is all about you. It's called The Falling Angel. It's spiritual narcolepsy. That's a new one too. I haven't seen that one as well. There we go. Can you see it good? I'm so shaky sometimes. So again, it's about kind of the theme of where we are tonight. People are feeling really disconnected. So it's that as well. It's being disconnected from wanting to take on too much more responsibility, even though you already have a tremendous amount of responsibility on your back all the time. It's connected to not want to take responsibility in a healthy way for other people's drama, especially family members. It's about you always being the caregiver, and kind of stepping back away from that just a little bit to find your own stability without all of the other issues that have been going on for so long. So make sure that you kind of pay attention to your gut with that. I think you have such a strong intuition and gut connection anyway, and you're a strong person. But when it comes to letting go of the dynamic, I think that process takes a minute, the dynamic that you've been experiencing for so long, that it's just kind of letting it step back. Okay. So let's let that step back. Ah, Janelle, good. Now I know who the Facebook user is. Hey, Janelle. So yeah, Jackie, just kind of pay attention in those areas. But this is a big transition time for you. It's kind of like you faking it until you make it. Do you know what I mean? Just kind of recreating your world now without some of those added pressures in. But it doesn't mean all the pressure is gone. It means that those things still have to be kind of acknowledged and dealt with. So acknowledge them and deal with them in the best way that you can. I know you're a very straightforward person, so you will do that to the best of your ability. Absolutely. Oh, goodness gracious. Janelle, I have missed you too, sweet girl. Absolutely. It's good to see you here. I'm glad that was you. You know, you never know. It could just be some crazy person. Well, I mean, you're a little crazy, but like in the best possible way. You know what I'm saying. Jackie, you absolutely know what I'm talking about. Good. I mean, just tonight is that. Tonight is about let's all wake up a little bit. Let's all kind of shake the dust off and kind of deal with what's really going on. Because I think a lot of the times, and even in reads like these and live shows like these, we're a little fantastical, right? When we come in, we're looking for only good news, which we want to give you guys, but we're looking for things that are kind of, they affect us, but they're kind of outside of our reality. It pulls us out a little bit. But the truth is tonight we have to be a little bit more about reality. So Beth Mobley, can I pull a card for you, please? Absolutely. All right, darling, I have a 4 card for you. It's mindful and group thinking. Okay. Of course, you guys know in the Chinese culture, most Asian cultures, the 4 card represents death. And this one is about mindful and group thinking. I think it's one of those things where you shake your head every day and go, what the hell has happened? Like, what happened to people? What happened to the world? Why don't people get it? Why can't we be kind to each other? It's kind of your detachment from the sickness that's going around. That sickness is mental and emotional. So I think it's kind of you waking up to that aspect. You have to be really firm in the way that you deal with the people that you're super close to, the people you have soul contracts with. I think some of the times you can be a little too direct. And so sometimes it's just about backing up a little bit and giving them space. I do see some things shifting for you though, with like, this is like family and home and significant other. Or someone that is incredibly, incredibly close to you in that way. It feels like there's some shifts there where you're kind of stepping back and you're like, I just want to move forward with things, and things feel really stuck in one mindset. So be careful not to get lost in the other person's mindset, but also have enough grace and understanding, because I know you do, to step back and realize that everybody processes and portrays and speaks in a different way. Everybody kind of functions through changes in energy in a very different way. And that'll give a little bit of pause to some of the heaviness that you're feeling. So just give it a little room to kind of come in and do what it needs to do. Okay. Because this is really about a mastery time. I think you're a lot like me. You probably have a lot of times where you feel like the world is about, 9 out of 10 are complete idiots that are barely walking erect. I have to catch myself with that a lot. That's the one judgmental side of me that I have a hard time with, is watching other people who don't have common sense or who neglect the rightful existence of other people or other living things, animals, plants, whatever. I tend to get a little bitchy in those areas sometimes. So we all have to kind of watch it just a little bit. Jay, you're a little crazy. Yeah, I know. We've met. Hey, Michael, how's it going? Everything's going good over here. I'm in great, great, great spirits now that little Sammy Pants has been felt. I don't think I have felt that relieved, and I don't know when. Romy was so heartbroken. I was too, but Romy really has a strong attachment with that baby. And we just talked about it 2 days ago. We were giving up. So I'm so grateful that Sammy found his way to the right people and they were able to get a hold of us. Thank God for microchips, right? Feels like a big warm hug tonight, Carol. It is a firm warm hug for sure. It is. I love y'all. I miss you guys all the time. I want the best for you, and I want the best for myself. But I think we all have to quit bullshitting ourselves and quit bullshitting other people. We're just past that point. I think, when you run into people who are content living in that space, it's their prerogative to be in that space. You have to let them stay there. It's not your job to pull them out. But you have to choose whether you want to do that as well, whether you want to have an agreement to exist in that as well. So we're just all there, right? So mine is kind of a come to Jesus meeting tonight in the kindest possible way, in the most loving way I can do that. But it has to be that way. Miss Beth, spot on. I'm grateful, not in an egotistical way, but I'm grateful so that you can receive that message and actually do something to kind of shift that dynamic, to shift that energy a little bit. So that makes me happy. Thank you for telling me. I really appreciate that. Kelsey, you're beyond over two-faced people who push off things on others. We all are. But here's the truth. We're all guilty of it as well. And I think this is where the smack in the ass comes tonight, is that we have to be accountable for how much we've played into other people's drama or delusion, because for some reason, on some level, it supported our need to not deal with ourselves, to not sit back and really self-evaluate and own up to change, own up to the change that's needed when things are not healthy for us. So it's pushing us hard in that way, but we're all guilty of it. There's not a single person on this planet who's not guilty of doing exactly that. We always, get mad at the other people. I was saying this to Romy the other day. I said, it's like when we're driving down the car, driving in the car down the road, and some idiot pulls in front of me, and he's thinking I'm the idiot, and I think he's the idiot, right? So we just both think each other are retarded, and this is the way that it goes. But we have to be careful with that. We have to be able to step back and go, okay, maybe I made a move there that was kind of asinine. Maybe I deserve the middle finger up today. It's got to be everybody's turn at some point. Ward Vanderplas, hello. It's nice to see you in, Ward. Glad to see you in. Anybody else got a question? Come on, guys, throw them at me. Oh, Jay, you're beyond lost and healing. I can absolutely pull a card for you. Absolutely, sweetie. For you, darling, I have a 56 card, which is an 11 reducing down to a 2. So this is about you and I would say normally someone else, but I think this is about you and you. It's called the wall and obstacles. It's upright. So it's all about you facing kind of the world that you've created for yourself, right? The choices that you've made, the places you've put yourself. And it's about overcoming that without being angry with yourself or without blaming other people or being angry with them. It's kind of that breaking point of going, okay, so here I am. I did this to myself. What am I going to do to get the hell out of it? The healing comes in owning it. Do you know what I mean? Just getting real with yourself, not bullshitting yourself, not bullshitting other people. Just getting real with it and saying, all right, I get it, right? This is mine, but what do I do to fix it now? And I think the healing comes in that regard, because so much of the healing with you, especially physically, so emotionally tied for you. I mean, I think there's so much that you've been trying to let go of for so many years that sometimes it gets overwhelming and you lose track of all the things you're trying to let go of. So it's just moving through those things gracefully one at a time and owning your part in the experience. That's where the real healing comes in. You said you figured that, do that to yourself a lot. We all do, sweetie, but it's, we just have to get real, right? Like, it's just time to get real. We can't blame other people for our shit all the time, because the truth is, even if we're in relationships or in experiences, or even for a small amount of time with other people, and they're an ass, and our lives are ruined or things are really hard, the truth is we entered into an agreement the minute we allowed them in our space. So we have to own that part of it. Now, you can't block everybody out of your space. It's not realistic. It's not healthy. But we have to own that part where we go, right, I get it. I see where my part and participation in this brought exactly what's going on. So it's owning that. That's where the healing comes in. All right, Ward. Do I know anything about astral travel? Yes, I do. In fact, I teach a lot with that sort of thing. So, of course I do. You're welcome, Jay. It's my pleasure, sweet girl. My absolute pleasure. All right, guys, hit me with it. You guys hit me with it. I'm going to pull a Wanda tonight. I'm excited about going and getting the cat, too. I'm not going to lie. I'm super stoked about it. But you guys let me know what's going on. There's, I do want to say this. There's a real need. I think it's really important right now for us to try to find our whimsy again, because we've all gotten really, really serious lately. So let's try to make a note to be a little more whimsical. What is astral travel? You've had a weird experience with your star family, you think? That's not surprising. Listen, my experience in astral travel, because I've been doing it, well, forever. I don't remember ever not doing it. And I remember my links, still have them now to what you're talking about. When we are in a meditative state or in a sleep state, there is zero reason for our spirit to stay in body. That's a point in a time for it to go experience and to gather information and intel, if you want to call it that. And that's what astral travel is. It's just projecting out of yourself to go get whatever information you need to get. We can do that focused when we're meditating. And like I said, we can do it involuntarily when we sleep. I prefer focused, and it doesn't have to just be when you meditate. You can do it when you go to sleep. If you set the intent that there's something you want to get more information on, you can absolutely pull that. As far as star links and star seeds and all of these things, our higher self, I believe, is already up there kind of guiding this particular experience, because I don't believe for a minute that we live literally. I think we live very spherically. More in a quantum way. I think we have a lot of different experiences going on at one time. It explains more deja vus or fears, phobias that we have that we can't reconcile. All right, let's see. They tell you you're being of color sea blue and want you to be teal or turquoise, but it's so weird and it happens randomly, even sometimes when you're awake. Okay. I don't know exactly what it is that they want from you. It sounds to me like if you're moving within that color scope, that the people you're connecting with are the avians. So I would do a little more research in that and kind of see where things are with it. They might be asking you just to change your tone a little bit. Every frequency, every tone has a signature, and we all kind of read with that. Gracie, I'm going to change your tone if you don't quit, young lady. We all have this signature and tone. So they want to upgrade your 3D body. That's fine. Go into 4D or even into 5D if you would like to do that. That's kind of what I teach, Ward, although I'm not doing a class right now. But 5D is about that, because we've already pushed, actually. The planet's already moved into 4D, but humans are stuck in 3D. That's probably why they're asking you to upgrade. If you want to do all of that with them, you just need to ask them to download you with what you can handle, not to give you more than you can handle, because a lot of the times when the downloads come in at night, we don't retain it all because our brains don't have the chip to manage that much information. So you can just ask for downloads that are appropriate, a little bit at a time, and things will be fun. Let me see if I can get Sushi up here. Come here, Sushi Pants. Come here. You want to make Grace real jealous? Let me see if I can get this baby to show you guys this baby, because Gracie's losing her mind. Come here, buddy. Come on. This is the cutest baby ever on the planet. Have you guys ever seen anything so sweet in your life? My little desert dog. They also tell you that they cannot figure out why they cannot do it yet. They keep trying to manipulate the color blue. Thanks for helping. I'm happy to help. Listen, I think that's what it is, though, because they can't change that for you, that vibration, that frequency, that harmonic that you have to move into, that moves with that color shift or that ethereal shift for you, is something only you can do. So I think they're prompting you to do it, but just stay open with it and keep receiving the messages and see where it kind of takes you. Sometimes it's a process. Sometimes it happens really fast. Sometimes it doesn't. So just hang in there, sweetheart. And I'm happy to help anytime, Ward. It's my pleasure. He is cute, right, Jay? He's the cutest little button. Oh, Sushi. Oh, Mr. Sushi. All right, guys. Anybody else? Any more questions? Come on. You guys are so quiet tonight. What the crap? Everybody was giving me grief about not being on air, and here I'm on air. And what? Come on. You know that you realize that, Ward? They keep doing it. You feel pain when they put these different colors on you. There was a time, and I remember back in my 30s when I had a disconnect, like between being a young child and my connections with traveling. And then in my teens, it was heightened. I think with puberty, it shifts a lot. That awareness shifts a lot. And then in my 30s, it shifted. And I find with 30-year-olds, there's something that happens in that time frame, like between 33 and about 37, 38, that we start going through another big spiritual kind of, I don't know, shift. I think it's chemical shifts in our body that naturally align with that harmonic. But it's interesting how that works out. And sometimes it can be physically painful. I mean, I would wake up with aches and pains or bruises or marks on my body. I would have headaches. There was a lot that went with it until I said to them, I can't receive and download what you're giving me at the same speed that you're giving it to me, right? I'm in a human experience right now, and this computer can only hold so much data. So don't give me more than I can handle. And I would try maybe to approach it from that form. The beings have no form. They feel like energy. Well, I mean, that's what they are. I mean, they don't need to have the physical form that we have. We only have it right now because we're hanging out in this 3D garbage. I mean, we're going to have a little bit until we shift off this planet, obviously. But if you can lighten yourself a little bit, you'll find your way with it. No worries. Brigitte, you had a vision of crow spirit, crow sitting in the highest treetop, looking over a girl, peddling fawn, cawing when danger came near. You know that a lot of us feel attacked. I feel you felt protection from it. I think a lot of us do feel attacked because we have been attacked. We've been psychologically attacked for the last couple of years from every possible direction. So if you have that connection in that way, then that is a sign for you to protect yourself, to feel coveted, to feel protected and taken care of. There's nothing wrong with that. I think we all have to connect to that without going too far down the rabbit hole and disconnecting from other humans. We have to get back to the point where we are connecting with other humans, guys. It is super important. Even though you may be saying to yourself right now, most of them are assholes. Maybe they are, but we're assholes too. And we have to be able to work in a collective to maintain the energetic field to help this planet keep pushing forward and to help our species evolve. Otherwise, we're just going to go away. There's going to be a certain point when this new shift in reality doesn't have any use for us anymore because we're not vibrating on the same level. We're not vibrating on the same energetic. We have to get to that point. And I think that's where we have to be. So that's part of the waking up, the calling bullshit on stuff tonight, the getting back into it. Everybody has to kind of throw themselves back into the fire right now without being worried about getting burned. You're only going to get burned if you put gasoline on yourself. Okay. So that's that participation thing. You can be involved without committing to participation that's unhealthy for you. Okay. So we all kind of have to jump back in that way, just kind of get things rolling. All right, guys, anybody else? I sure am glad everybody came by. I'm really grateful. It's nice to be back with you guys. I've missed you guys. But if, Carol, use sunscreen and hydrate. Absolutely. It's just time, guys. We're past the self-protective thing. Everybody needs to get their head out of their ass. None of us are spiritual masters. None of us are amazing, perfect humans. We are all fallible. We are all fighting and climbing our way up. So we all have to be kind of easy on ourselves and easy on other people. Absolutely. All right, beautiful people. Well, if you guys don't have any more questions, I'm going to call it and go get a cat because I haven't seen him in 2 months. So we'll just do that. And Victor will be here tomorrow with you guys. And of course, we're right back on schedule. I promise I'm not going to miss any more shows unless I'm absolutely dying, which I hope will not be the case. Beth, it's nice to know you're not alone. It's not. Listen, we're all in this together. That's the thing that we forget sometimes is that your brothers and sisters, and that's what every human on this planet is going through this with you. And God loved these animals that are around us to deal with our psychotic breaks constantly, but they are here vibrating on a much higher level trying to help us ascend. So let's all be patient with ourselves, be kind with ourselves, and just go forward that way, right? We just keep doing the right thing. We're putting one foot in front of the other and one act of kindness in front of the next. And let's just go get it that way. Jay, absolutely, honey. Anytime. You've got my number. Just give me a call. Guys, I appreciate you so much. I'm grateful for your time and your energy. Thank you for your trust. Thank you for lending your spirit through this time. And I'm grateful for all of you having my back on going to get my baby. I'm really excited. I love y'all. Y'all take care of yourself. Victor will see you tomorrow. I will see you next week. Wanda will be here on Sunday. Rachel on Monday. Me on Tuesday. Wednesday is Victor. And we're just going to keep knocking it out of the park, guys. Love all of y'all. Remember, be easy on yourself. Be easy on others. We're all fighting the